subscribe to Go Doctor Who. And if you don't, then you can go.
Right, hello guys, watching Go Doctor Who, and today we're going to do something very different and interesting on the channel. Let's talk about the Time Lords. Before we do, we're trying to get to 200 subscribers, so if you don't mind, you know. And yeah, we're almost at 160, we're 4 away, so if you could just, you know. But anyway, yeah, let's get into the video. So, let's talk about the Time Lords. So, if you're a new Doctor Who fan who doesn't know much of the Time Lords, for some reason, let me just give you a brief aspect. Technically, it's the Doctor's people, but judging by the latest episode that's come out on Doctor Who, The Timeless Child, it's no longer his people. But we're going to go the aspect it is his people for now and get onto that later on in the video. So yeah, let's get into it. So these are the Doctor's people, the Time Lords. This is where the Doctor came from, the planet Gallifrey, constellation Castabras. Yes, that is basically the Doctor's planet, Gallifrey. And on the planet Gallifrey are Time Lords and Gallifreyans. Now, Gallifreyans are people that are just normal people like me and you. You know, we're normal people that live on the planet, but are not that popular or judged, I guess. We just live on the outskirts of Gallifrey and live about. Whereas these citadels that the Gallifrey has are where the Time Lords live, and you have to go to the academy. And the Doctor and the Master, who we mainly follow in Doctor Who, sorry, got an itchy nose. Yes, them two main characters, at the age of 8, the Doctor went to the academy and was forced to look at the untempered schism, the basically the time vortex, and look deep into it. Now, some can make you go mad, some can be inspired, and some people can just run away. Of course, the Doctor was the one who always ran away. Inspired, we don't know who got inspired by this, but of course the Master certainly went mad, and the drums, the never-ending drums, were certainly linked into the Master's head as a child, making him who he was today. Yes. Then we have that aspect, and basically the Time Lords in the academy grew up into different like robes and stuff like that. You have, it's just like Harry Potter, you know. Oh, you're a Puffledore. I don't watch much Harry Potter, sorry. Puffledore, or you're a Severus Snake or something like that, you know. You're different groups, and I don't know what group the Doctor was in, or I don't know that, but yeah. Barusa is the president of Gallifrey at this current time, and we also have another one who taught the Doctor as a child. Could actually be Barusa. I'm getting mixed up with the names of that. But either way, the Doctor had a guy who taught him much about how to do certain stuff that Time Lords can do, with telepathic stuff and stuff like that, with contact and all that jazz. And we got to see his teacher in the Third Doctor's era, which I'll probably, hopefully, if I can find the image, I'll put it on the screen now. If not, sorry. But yes, then we can go on to the next thing that we know, is the Time Lords basically are a race that are pompous. You know, they look down at others, and they think they're better in a way. And they are, in a way. And basically, they have the knowledge of time travel. Now, time travel, there is this aspect at the beginning of the Time Lords. There's three important people: the Other, Omega, and Rassilon. Now, I've gone onto a video recently, a couple days ago, you should check out, on Omega is back, to establish something from the Children in Time episode. Check that video out, it's only just come out on the channel. Anyway, back to that. We have three important Time Lords, and the Other is actually meant to be the person who found the Timeless Child in the Timeless Children. I don't know her name. I can't pronounce it. Tutunkanu, or whatever her name is. The person who found the Timeless Child is the third person in this. And yeah, then we go on to something else. These people made Time Lords. Omega was basically the person who made TARDISes. He made the TARDIS, and he just basically made them, and then eventually got too over the top and too OP, and people were scared of Omega. So then they exiled him to an antimatter universe, which is basically another universe full of just him on his own. And if he can think of anything he wants, oh, he thought of a Sonic, you know? He can think of that. For some reason, I want a TV to watch. Oh, look, I just made a TV by thinking. It's like that with the antimatter universe, but he can't escape. And he did try and escape, I think, in an episode I haven't seen, the Arc Infinity, I think it is, the 5th Doctor story. You should check that out. I haven't checked it out yet. I need to check it out. But yeah, I can't say much on that. But yes, there's that aspect. And then we have Rassilon, the president of Gallifrey and the main president, the longest president, and then got resurrected and fought in a time war, and then the 10th Doctor stopped him and the Master and went back to the time war, and then we got to see Rassilon again in New Who in Hell Bent, and then he got kicked off the planet by the Doctor. So Rassilon is out in the universe wondering about with his revenge. Now if you're a Titan Comics fan, he did get the Cybermen and totally tried to obliterate and upgrade Gallifrey, but then he had to work, then the Cybermen turned on him, and the Doctor and Rassilon had to work together to defeat the Cybermen on Gallifrey. And the 12th Doctor and Rassilon did that, and then Rassilon flew off again. And yeah, everything got sorted basically. But Rassilon's still out there in space. And then we have every other Time Lord destroyed because the Master found out at the beginning of the Timeless Child what that is. And basically, how Time Lords come about was basically because the Doctor was the Timeless Child. He was found from another portal as a female girl, and the Tutankhamun, the person who found the Timeless Child, raised her up until one day the Timeless Child fell and basically died and regenerated. She was shocked by this and experimented on the child. Yes, experimented until she could find out how to do it herself. And one day she experimented and worked and regenerated. And that's how the Time Lords came about with regeneration. They started regenerating, and they all become because they were basically torturing the Doctor as a timeless child. So yeah, and we see more incarnations and so on and so on. Now, it is a main thing to learn is the Doctor didn't like his people. He never felt like he belonged, but he still loved Gallifrey. And he flew off, believing that they were his people. He didn't know about the portal until his 13th incarnation, that he fell through a portal of the other universe and was the Timeless Child. He didn't know any of that. And he just know what we called his first incarnation, William Hartnell's first Doctor. And so on. We know the rest of the story from that. But yes, I just think, what I think of the Time Lords is, they're very up themselves, but they are most dangerous because they have all this technology, they have all this knowledge, and you see how clever the Doctor is. That's what the Time Lords are. The Time Lords have got a bit of the Doctor in them to make them regenerate. So there's a bit of Doctor in each Time Lord, which is interesting, and what the Master hates. And I love the Master aspect, and the Master is basically the Doctor if he was evil in a way, and I like that. But yes, the Time Lords were definitely interesting, and they are just an interesting villain that are sadly no longer with us. They're like the dinosaurs now. They're almost extinct in a way, but we do have Rassilon out there ready to come angry and, yeah, to find out his people are all destroyed because of the Master and the Doctor. God knows what he's going to try and do to them whenever he finds out. And we also have Omega, always in the antimatter universe, ready to escape. Now, Omega has got mentioned in the scripts of Series 12 as one of the people, and if he just got mentioned, why would he just get mentioned? Maybe Chris Chibnall has plans for Omega to return at some point. But yes, and Rassilon should as well. Maybe Omega and Rassilon tag team versus the Master and the Doctor. Boom. But yes, there we go. That's my talking about the Time Lords. I really like them as a race. They're interesting. They always make me get excited and get off my seat and go, right, I need to listen to this. You know, they're very important people in the Doctor Who universe, and we need to see more of them. And yeah, that's my video on the Time Lords. Hope you enjoyed that, guys. I'm going to let's talk about the Master tomorrow. So check that video out if you want to, about me just talking about the Master. And we don't need to go much in detail like the Time Lords did, because everyone kind of knows the Master, so I can just talk about what I like and what I dislike about the Master, and so on tomorrow. And then we're going to do a Series 11 review on Saturday, and then Sunday the Pompeii episode is on Twitter, and I'm going to be reviewing that. So yes, there's a lot to come on the channel, so don't comment, rate, subscribe. We're trying to get to 200 subscribers. I will see you guys for another video very soon. Have a nice day.